Yo, it's your man with the plan, Mark Solars here to talk about 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. And if you're clicking on this video and you're wondering, what the heck is 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim? I wouldn't be surprised because, especially in the West, this game got shafted by the marketing teams here. And just to give you some foresight of how bad it got shafted. Number one, this is a PlayStation 4 exclusive game. At least over here, I don't know what it's like in Japan because I think it came out a little earlier in Japan. But at least here is a PlayStation 4 exclusive game, and Sony has barely even opened their mouth. I don't even think they opened their mouth. They even give this game a shout out on Twitter or nothing. I don't think. And so this is an exclusive game. They gave it no shout outs, and that's the first thing. It's like it's exclusive, and they seem like they didn't really care. The second thing is that even the trailers that did come out didn't really do it justice, I gotta say. It seemed, I only watched a little bit of it, but it seemed like it just didn't really do justice for the game. And it just seems like all around, everybody who was part of the marketing team for this game was just shafting this game. And it kind of was up to the few people who did know about this game and a lot of other creators from Japan, like I think Yoko Taro, who's the creator of Nier Automata and the Nier series, and I think even maybe Sakurai from Smash Brothers had to shout this game out. And it seems like, and that kind of helped to get it momentum. But overall, it seems like the lack of awareness that this game even exists is the main problem. And even if it did exist, the marketing behind it was god awful. And honestly, that's kind of why I'm making this video, because this game has a lot of It does something to me I haven't felt in a game in probably this year so far, and there's a lot of interesting tidbits about this game, from how the voice acting for the English dub came out, and how everything just came together. It's just very interesting how much this game struggled to get out and how wonderful it came out, in my opinion. And I kind of just want to talk about my experience, what I didn't like, what I did like, what is this, and what this game is supposed to be. And I just kind of just talk about my experience, like I said. And the first thing I want to talk about, which is the reason why this video is probably a little bit shorter than what you usually see from me, maybe, is the story. And I don't really want to spoil too much about the story because the first 10 minutes of the story starts bringing in really crazy plot elements, and I don't even know I can really even talk about the story at all without going too ham or getting or ruining surprises for you right out the gate. But the story is sci-fi, pretty much 100% sci-fi. It's very interesting for that fact though, because it just seems like it has so many sci-fi elements that I feel like every single time my expectations were okay, okay, this is a good game, and I'm like, oh my god, what the heck happened? I felt like I was guessing. I kept on guessing what's going to happen, and I was like, okay, I understand the story now. This story is going to be, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, and the story's like, nah, you thought this is going to happen. I was like, you thought this was going to happen, but it's not going to happen. I was like, oh my god. I know I probably sound crazy right there, but it's it just feels like the game just keeps on you feel like you start to understand, okay, I know where the story's going. This character is going to go crazy, and they're going to do this. But no, every single time I think I got the plot down, wrapped around my finger, the plot just completely unravels itself. I can't even grasp it, for a second there. And in a good way, too. It's not like it's just confusing. It might be confusing, but in a good way. You just don't know what the hell is happening. What is happening? Why is this happening? And it's oh shoot, it just keeps on raising itself on top of the bar, and I couldn't believe how hype I was feeling. This is the first time in a long time where at least a game story, not just gameplay, but the game story just was mind effing me the whole time, and it was so cool. I think AI the Somnium Files was the only game that recently that really just mind effed me. That's another game I want to talk about sooner or later, but AI the Somnium Files is like the last game that did that to me. And this, oh my god, I can't put praises enough about the story. But the one problem I do have the story, it's not a big problem. I do feel like at the end, for how much stuff they did put in there, they could have explained it a tiny bit more, like maybe one more chapter with all the characters, because you have 13 characters to choose from, different story points to choose from, and they all have different big plot points they all focus on. And I feel like they could have put a little bit more in there to just explain the stuff, so you can even just get a little bit more of a grasp of what's happening. Because I felt closer to the end there, you're like, oh my god, stuff is rushing past you so fast. You're like, oh my god, what is happening? What is happening? You did get confused a tiny bit there, but overall, it was a really interesting experience. If you don't like really complicated stories, though, I don't recommend this to you. But that's as much as I want to say on the story. The rest I want you guys to figure out on your own if you get this game or you watch some of the game's content. But the next thing I want to talk about, which is kind of like the second part to the game, is the combat. And it kind of reminds me of like a mixture between the board game of Battleship, Balloon Tower Defense, and an RPG. And I know that sounds a little lame, but hear me out. It's okay. I gotta say, this is the part of the game where I wasn't exactly the most hype behind it at least at the very beginning, because I think the first 2 chapters of it isn't my favorite thing, especially on normal. It's kind of easy on normal, and I had it felt like it was okay. I liked it. It was okay to me. Like, I could have lived without it, but at the same time, I liked that it was in. That's how I felt about the combat. I felt like it could have been a little bit, because it's on this grid, and it's like on this digital grid, and there's so much stuff happening at the same time, and I feel like certain enemies are overlaying other enemies on the grid, and it just felt like it would actually probably benefit if it actually had an art style to it, or like an art style, the main art style, to the game, like it does in the main story, or if it like was more turn-based so you can see the animations and stuff. I just felt like it was a little hard for me to see some of the things I was doing. But overall, I like the combat a lot, especially towards the end. It got really crazy because you come up with some broken strategies once the game like opens up all the way. Which I think after maybe the chapter 1, it really opens up all the way. It's prologued in chapter 1 of the battles. So yeah, it was okay. I think they could have done some tweaking to it here and there, but it served its purpose and it was enjoyable enough. And I think that they could have, how to explain this with the battle system. I think they could have added a little bit more, a tiny bit more variety to it, but overall, like I said, I liked it. But one of the good graces about this game, depending on how you feel about the battle system or the story, you can easily switch between the two as much as you want. Of course, there's locks because they try to make sure you still follow the story's continuity, so you don't just know secrets of other people's story before, before it's revealed in the overall plot. But they do a good job of giving you control over switching between the battles and the story, or you can go as far as you want in the story and then go to the battles and go as far as you want, or you can play the game as you just have the story there. You do a little bit of story, you do a little bit of battles, and you switch between the two. The game gives you choices between how you want to handle your battles and your story, depending on how you feel about either one of the two. And I think I like that a lot because then you don't feel like you're overwhelmed by one or the other, or you can at least give yourself a break from one if you're a little bit more fond of the other one. But that's the thing. And then the last little section I'll talk about is the analysis section. And this is a very important section. This section kind of like weaves together everybody's story and everybody and like all the clues that you get, you got up to here. It's kind of like you have an archive of certain information that you might have missed because it was like, in dialogue, or the character was, acting funny around another character and you couldn't catch it. It's like analysis is kind of like help you piece stuff together, and even help you like organize the character stories of which one is like in order canonically, and it really helps you understand the story. So if you're confused, always go to analysis. Analysis is your friend. You know, unlock everything you think you want to know early, because there's some things you have to unlock through battles that give you little points, and it's really easy to get points, and you can unlock pretty much if you're good enough. You can unlock, or you follow the instructions, you can unlock most of them before the end of the game, like all the clues. But you go to analysis. All the point is, go to analysis tab if you're starting to feel a little confused, because it really helps. It's like a review section, especially if you have to take breaks from the game. But yes, I really love 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, and I really hope this game gets a little bit of traction, because it's a game that I went into blind. Which is something I don't do completely. Like, I didn't see the trailers, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything about this game, and because of that, it just felt like everything just felt like a wild ride, and it's a ride that I don't see games do a lot anymore. And if you like complicated stories and stuff, it's just the characters are so everything is so well done for what it is. And actually, that kind of reminds me, I want to talk about the voice acting. I played English voice acting, and there's a very interesting story about this voice acting. I heard from through the grapevine that this game originally wasn't going to have an English dub. The trailer came out for this game. I think the English dub was... Then they decided they wanted to make an English dub after the announcement trailer came out. So I think either the English dub was patched in or it came in at the very last second. And the thing is, the situation the world is when this video is coming out, it's, people can't really join, can't be in the booth back to back all the time because traveling and issues and all that stuff that goes along with that. And so all the voice actors had to have their own semi booths at home. To the English voice actors, not the Japanese ones, but they had to have their own booths at home to record their voices. So every voice actor had to have their own semi little setup to voice act, at least for this game. They might have already had it because they're professional voice actors, but the ones that didn't, they had to supply that. And I think the person who oversaw the voice acting for this game, the director, which is a great director for Atlus, is can't remember his name, but he's the guy who voices Aegis in Fire Emblem Three Houses. He's a great voice director. So over a long distance, I think they recorded the voices. He gave them context for the voices, and he just went to town on a script, and the dub came out so good for the circumstances it was under, the stress it was under, the last minute, duress it was under. It came out so good. Honestly, I would play English dub just to respect that, for me, personally. Because it just went through so much shit. And the way, how good the game came out with all, with all this flim-flam on it, it's just a testament to how, honestly, regardless of what you think about Atlus and some of the policies and some of the stuff they do, it shows how much skill Atlus and a lot of their allies have in creating games and voice acting and stuff. And I can't give this game a praise enough, honestly. I don't know if it's gonna be my game of the year, but it's definitely in contending because it's just blown me away that much. So if you guys have played this game down below, please spread the word. Please leave a comment and tell me what you liked about the game without spoiling anything for people who haven't played anything. And for those people who haven't played the game, please pick this game up and spread the word. Make some artwork if you're an artist, and just spread the word. It's a game that honestly I think deserves the praise right next to Danganronpa. And I say the same for AI Somnium Files, even though I think AI has a little bit more more pool which is not that much, but he even has more pool than this game. And this game performed terribly here. But I think they expected it to perform terribly, and I think it did a little bit above average overall. But I think this game needs a little bit more praise. So, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope you guys pick this game up, like I said, and, you know, leave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Doesn't matter which one. It just helps to know you guys are watching. Also, hit the subscribe button, a little bell icon to join the rebellion, because I'm only a bastard need friends. And please, pick this up for the art style, for the voice acting. The art style is beautiful. It's like an oil paint, moving anime oil painting. And just go to town. Just go to town. So, please make sure you guys have a damn good one. And I'll see you guys in the next video and our stream. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.